Hey guys, Sukhoi Wolf here. Look what we've got here today. This is the Pimax Crystal Super. Pimax was kind enough to send this to me in exchange for me making this video. So I'm going to go over the headset, the controllers, the software, Pimax Play, and then my thoughts on using it in DCS. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, right off the bat, size. It's got some size to it. I wouldn't say it's enormous, but it is not small. I will say that. The build of it seems pretty nice. It's comfortable. So there's this adjustable top strap, as well as this adjustable rear strap, so you can get a really good form factor on your head, and then your forehead will rest inside here on this foam pad. It's actually pretty comfortable to wear. I think the longest I've worn it so far is maybe 3 hours straight during a long mission in DCS, and I didn't really noticed that it was there once I was real engaged in the game. It's actually pretty comfortable, even though it's got some weight. Again, I wouldn't say it's heavy, but it's not a small package. Up front, we have cameras for pass-through as well as room tracking. It looks like there's some vents here for some heat dissipation. On the side right here, we have a function button as well as a volume. Right here, we've got the display port coming out, loops around, loops in here. I'm going to change the way I have this routed, but I just kind of have it here for right now. And then display port to the computer. So good visuals, very good visuals. The speakers on it, here and the other side here, pretty good quality. Obviously they're not like a Bose over the ear headset or something similar like that, but they are very enjoyable. I don't necessarily find myself thinking about the sound quality when I'm playing. More just immersed by the visuals, and the sound is nice. On the bottom here, you can see this is where the optical engine would go into. There's some release slots right here, so you can actually pull this optical engine out, and if you wanted to replace it with a different one, or if you somehow damaged yours and you needed to swap it out, you don't have to buy a whole new headset. You can just buy the optical engine. So the one that's currently in here is the 57 pixels per degree model that is 3840 by 3840, up to 90 hertz and 106 degrees horizontal field of view. This does have eye tracking, which is nice, and also the dynamic foveated rendering, which I'll get into later. But overall, just visually as a product, I think it's very nice. It looks very sleek, almost futuristic, with the blue lights up front. But yeah, I really enjoy the form factor of this. Alright, here are the controllers. They are pretty standard in design. Buttons, thumbsticks also click. I didn't realize that you can see the sensors for tracking on the camera. Normally you can't see those with your naked eye. That's pretty cool. I still have the plastic covering on my triggers. Something that I saw online from other users that people were, right out the gate kind of speaking negatively on was the lack of replaceable batteries. A lot of other companies will use, like AA's, and you swap them out when they're dead or whatnot. These are USB-C. 2 USB-C cords are provided with the package itself, and in my experience, it wasn't really that much. It wasn't really a deal breaker. They charged pretty quickly, and they held the charge for a long time, I would say. And then also, of course, you can charge it while you're using it, given you have the space. And if you're playing, a game that requires a lot of motion, you probably wouldn't want to do that, but you can if need be. I wanted to explain my computer specs just so you guys understand my baseline of what I'm working with. So I've got an MSI 5090, a Ryzen 9 9950X3D, and 128 gigs of DDR5 Vengeance Corsair RAM. Okay, so in terms of gameplay visuals, it is stunning. I mean, it just looks awesome. The colors are crisp. The contrast is top tier. The lighting is good. The refresh rate is great. You know what I mean? Not only does it look good, but it's very smooth. One thing that I did notice was on the edges of my peripheral vision, I was noticing a bit of a chromatic aberration. However, I was able to get that to pretty much go away with just some tweaking of some settings. So not an issue, but just back to the visuals. I mean, it's like next level. Having come from a Quest 2 and 3, this just blows those out of the water, like completely. Just the level of immersion that you get with it. I mean, any VR headset is going to give you, the feeling of being inside of, these aircraft while you're playing DCS, but just with the quality, the clarity that you see everything. Your displays, the buttons, the scratches on the panels and stuff. It's just something that I've never experienced before. And with that being said, whenever I make my cinematics, I watch them, at 4K and 60 frames per second. And then when I upload them to YouTube, you guys watch them at 4K and 60 frames per second. So we're essentially watching, the exact same thing. With this, unfortunately, I just can't demonstrate to you guys with how you're watching it right now of how good this looks. There's just no way for me to show you guys. It's just something that you have to experience yourselves. We're now on a Hornet. It's at nighttime. We're gonna do some aerial refueling. I know, like I mentioned before, you guys can't see, the darkness levels of the contrast and the local LED dimming. Flip on the MVGs here. But man, it is such a game changer in immersion with how dark like nighttime is on DCS. It just adds so much to the atmosphere. I'm trying to think of something like actually negative to say about it. The only thing that I can think of is, of course, depending on what your budget is, it is a high-end headset, so it might be a little bit out of reach for a lot of people. But again, I know that there's probably a lot more who can afford something like this, and I'm happy to say that this would be worth every penny. If you're real into flying DCS, if you're an enthusiast, I wouldn't see any drawbacks to it. And then again, right now, with the weight, I don't really even notice that I have it on my head. Once you're focused in on something like this, Everything else just kind of like, you know, melts away, and you don't really notice that, you know, you have this, you know, headset on your face. It sits pretty comfortably, like I mentioned previously. All right, so as I wrap it up, just want to say thanks again to Pimax for giving me this opportunity. And then just a disclosure, they did send me this headset in exchange for this video. And I will also have a coupon code in the description of this video, which will get you some money off if you choose to buy a headset. And disclosure again, I do receive a commission if you happen to purchase a headset using my coupon code. But I look at it more as like a win-win. You know, I get something out of it, you get some money off, especially with the holidays coming up. You know, if you wanted to purchase a headset for yourself or for a loved one, if, you know, they're a real DCS enthusiast or you happen to be, it's definitely worth every penny. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and be on the lookout for some more cinematics soon. See you guys.